win. They are competitive along those lines, and here we go. I bring you MarineKing.Prime. He's in the pink trunks, and he is playing 7 to the south of this map, which is, of course, the GSL Terminus SE versus his opponent. It is Grubby. He is in the green trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the west. Well, Forge Cannon, I don't think the correct response to what just happened there. Bit of lag. Hopefully, it won't affect the game too much. Wouldn't want that. Just a large amount of casters in this game. It's not helping. No, whatever the case, MarineKing looking really, really strong with that opening. Grubby didn't really have an answer to it. The drop just never died. And hell, +1/+1 Marines at that stage with Stim and Combat Shield. That's really dangerous. Hard to respond to. And when you consider what happened leading up to that, Grubby's economy was so badly damaged he wasn't able to produce a large enough army to repel a simple Marine drop. Think about that for a second. 20 probes killed in about a minute. MarineKing had effectively ended the game right there. I don't like calling that because you never know. Pro players are capable of some of the most amazing comebacks, but that was just horrible. Let's see what happens here. MarineKing is actually going to go for a wall-off. Grubby opening with a gateway first. Not going Nexus first this time around. I think he may have learned his lesson. Evidently not a good idea against MarineKing.Prime. And his gas as well. After watching that, you've got to think, well, you really don't want Hellions in your base, do you? I mean, what is there else to say? There's no deep analysis required of that. There were Hellions in his base, so he died. The response is to not let the Hellions in. It really is as simple as that. Funnily enough, it wasn't even Refinery first for MarineKing, who just got the barracks up and then followed up by the factory. The Hellions went in pretty much immediately, of course, but they could have been even faster than that. Scary, really. I think that's probably the best way to describe MarineKing.Prime through this entire tournament. Scary. The only person he's lost against is Stefano, the ZVT specialist. Best foreign ZVT as far as I'm concerned. People keep saying, yeah, it's, you know, it's other people. No, it's not. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. Based on what I've seen of Stefano over the past 6 or 7 months, even since his initial start, his ZVT has been ridiculous. And that's the only person MarineKing fell to. Unbelievable. Alright, double gas coming up for MarineKing.Prime on one base. Expansion coming in to follow that one up. Nice and quickly. So he decides to go for Hellion again. MarineKing supply blocked for a little while. Not a huge deal. Grubby also with the double assimilator. Cybercore is down. Grubby does... Have you noticed Grubby really doesn't use a lot of chrono boost? He often just leaves it accumulating. I mean, now he's hit 75, you'd think maybe he'd boost the Cybernetics score. There you go. I've actually seen Grubby with 100 chrono boost on many occasions at his Nexus. It's just something he doesn't really use as much as he could. I think that's maybe something that he needs to iron out in his play. Not that he should be taking advice from me, but it's just what I'm seeing here from a casting position. MarineKing, 1 barracks. All that he requires, it would seem. Going straight into the factory. Gas count starting to get pretty high for MarineKing here. Have to see what he decides to go for. All sorts of possibilities. Really impossible to call. Could go for a defensive style here with siege tanks. Could be going through a starport for Banshee, but he's not throwing the starport down just yet. So there's a tech lab right here. There's the starport. Tech lab's a little bit early for that starport to be Banshee. So that does seem unlikely. Grubby now prodding at that just a little bit. In the meantime, Grubby's just been building up a couple of gateways. No sign of an expansion from him just yet, but he certainly has the money to do so very, very shortly. He has actually gone 4-gate. Has he cut probes? He has cut probes at 24. So here we go. He's going to start to get aggressive. That's 4-gate versus 1 Rax. I don't know if even MarineKing.Prime could throw back something of that magnitude. That seems really dangerous, and MarineKing hasn't actually scouted at all. I'm sorry, but if MarineKing throws this back with a single bunker full of unupgraded Marines, it'll be a goddamn miracle. Right now, Grubby's starting to get aggressive. Trying to punish the arrogance, perhaps, of MarineKing here. MarineKing's mule, I'm sorry, he's going to run around panicked. Unable to do anything. Trying to fix up that bunker as quickly as possible. This 4-gate coming in from Grubby. More pressure. Marine King really does not have a large army here. No siege deployment. You have to wall off with a bunker. That orbital command is down. Marine King going for quite the silly strat, in my opinion. He didn't scout. He did not scout. And this is what happens when you don't do that. Marine King sort of playing a bit fast and loose, I think, and Grubby punishing him for it. That base is now being denied. However, this is a one-base play, and Grubby doesn't quite have what he needs now to break this. 2 siege tanks on the field and a bunker full of Marines. And Hellions coming up as well to deal with the Zealots. And the question is, how long can Grubby really occupy this area and prevent it from mining? And how much economic damage was really done there since he had to cut probes? He's not expanded yet either. I'd imagine he's about to do so. 6 workers killed by Grubby. Some unit damage done. That's the units lost. Marine King taking limited damage, but that attack wasn't as successful as Grubby would have liked, no doubt. Nicely held there by Marine King. And now Grubby's going to try and deny this. However, there are enough units there. A smart force field there by Grubby. Grubby actually has a significant number there. He could easily stop those force fields from... Well, he could easily stop the tanks from rolling down the ramp and preventing them from protecting that. He's got a lot... Actually, he's almost got infinite force field energy. That's going to require Marine King to drop past that. In the meantime, there's a Hellion drop coming in. Grubby moving to intercept. He already knew that was coming. Really nicely shut down by Grubby. That one flying all the way over that Zelnaga watchtower. Now Marine King's going to have to somehow make his way over this, and Grubby's going to have to miss a force field for that to happen. There are 3 sentries. That should be enough to hold that. There's plenty of force field energy there. Marine King simply cannot deploy at this position. However, Grubby's going to be forced back slightly. Nice tank deployment there. Sentry eliminated. Ah, very nice. Now Grubby's going to have to back off. There's no way he can continue placing those force fields. Marine King's able to break through that eventually, but a nice contain there by Grubby for a while. Able to secure his second base and get that worked out. And in the meantime, he's transitioned through to Colossus. He's probably going to need to grab a few more gas to really start pumping those out in a major way, as he does so right now. Interesting. Marine King with a mech style up against Protoss here, and yet Colossus coming on the field. Not a terrible choice. Siege tanks do tend to eat through Colossus pretty well. Infernal Pre-Igniter coming up from Marine King. Obviously wants to continue with this mech style. You'll notice that he actually does not have a deployed barracks, which for Marine King is pretty damn unusual. He's even got a couple of Vikings out there on the field just to spot for these tanks. Now, economically, Grubby is slightly behind simply due to the fact that there are mules here, and Marine King is taking his pocket third. The question is, can Grubby actually do anything about it? Is he able to harass? Well, he does have a Colossus up. What does Marine King know? Nothing. Not a damn thing. Doesn't even know that he's taking an expansion, although he can make that assumption based on the time. It's not ideal for Marine King, I've got to say. Marine King with a slight supply lead, but still. Not knowing what your opponent's doing. It's a little tricky to deal with. His Viking count is not high enough to deal with the number of Colossi. Siege tanks will certainly do quite a lot of damage to those Colossi. But still, I'm not liking it yet. Marine King trying to find a way in. Should be able to slip past those Stalkers this time around. And he's going to spot the Colossus. There we go. Grubby showing him that. And the response, I would imagine, will be to produce more Vikings. But there's a Raven coming out right here from Marine King. And an Armory as well. Now, he's not been building infantry units up until this point. So I've got to imagine that that is for upgrades for the vehicles, as well as perhaps deploying Thors here. It might work. There are no Immortals on the field. Second robotics facility on the way out for Grubby. The question is, when does he attack and how much time does he give his opponent? Marine King does not have a reactor on that starport, and there's still only 2 Vikings in the air. Very interesting considering the Colossus count. Relying on siege tanks by the look of it to deal with the Colossi. Another expansion coming up from Marine King. Unbelievable. Expanding incredibly fast. Grubby taking his pocket third as well. Now, of course, where does Marine King go from here? Does he expand here, closer to his opponent? Does he expand further away? That's difficult to access. It's a bit of a jog. Grubby's already keeping an eye out for that. Double Thor coming out from Marine King now. Thors and Siege Tanks, not a bad counter to Colossus, but the risk is, of course, that Grubby spots that, which he has, and goes right into Immortal. Smart move. He knows exactly how many Siege Tanks Marine King has. Marine King continuing to scout with Vikings. No drop potential here. Just trying to get some information. He knows that Grubby's taking his pocket third. Marine King not able to get in with those Hellions. He would love to, but it's not going to happen. Now, what's the size of Marine King's army? It's quite large, considering. Grubby with 3 Colossus, 2 Immortals. Not as many as I would like. I'd like to see at least 4 before he goes in there. Marine King is going to play this very heavy defensive mech style. Roll forward, secure the 4th here, perhaps. There's already a proxy pylon in place. And let's see if Grubby's got the units to deal with this. This is going to end up being messy one way or the other. That's a lot of heavy firepower on both sides. Colossi taking big damage already from the Siege Tanks. Grubby does not want to engage here. He knows it. He needs to back off immediately, losing sentry after sentry to Infernal Pre-Igniter Hellions. Grubby's force being whittled down there. No losses taken by Marine King. That's the army supply count. Marine King in a significant lead. Grubby transitioning out into High Templar. And there we go. Marine King has now secured his 4th, and is now going to build a 5th, whereas Grubby is still stuck on 3. Unbelievable. Grubby's force is really small here. The Hellions will go down really fast, but the problem is those Colossi can't get in range without being hit by the Siege Tanks. It's risky. It's going to require some significant micro skill. Thankfully, Grubby has that. And here he goes, slicing his way through significant numbers of Hellions. Doesn't want to lose a Colossus, however. Is able to keep it alive. There's a lot of Hellions taken out. No real significant damage done there by Marine King. Grubby continuing to build up the size of that force. He's now on 6 Immortals. Enough to crack your way through a Terran mech force quite easily. In fact, if he deploys those 6 Immortals right now, he should win that fight. Going for 7. Also mixing Archons in. That'll be good. That'll be able to take significant damage. Act as a meat shield. Marine King is going to roll out, however. He wants to try and pressure this. This is going to be a war over this little canyon right here. Interesting battle that will be. And, of course, a war of the Zelnaga Watchtower, which will get a significant amount of visibility to Marine King. It's going to give him a lot of tank ability. He's going to be really careful with those Colossus, and he knows it. And here comes the engagement. Needs the Immortals up the front right now. Lots of Siege Tank shelling going on, but the Immortals should be able to ignore that completely. Charging through. And this is the problem with going heavy mech against Protoss. This tends to happen. Raven deployed. The Colossi cleaned up, but there's no answer to those Immortals. None at all. And now Grubby bringing it down on Marine King's 4th. Marine King is building mass tank against Immortal, which, as it turns out, is a bad idea. Who'd have thought it? The SCV's actually proving to be more effective than the tanks, if you can even believe that. In this situation, Grubby keeps 7 Immortals alive. Those Immortals have done so much damage. Orbital Command destroyed. That expansion destroyed. Marine King in an awful position now. Having gone for a very weird build. Grubby counters it perfectly. That's the army supply count. Looking pretty damn grim, if I do say so myself. Holy hell. Look at the difference in resources lost. Almost 10k. Marine King taking massive losses across the board. And Grubby looking really strong. The perfect response. He's also able to clean up the Viking count, so he can now start building Colossi again safely. Storm coming out as well. And Grubby, hey, likes that variety. Is that 8 Immortals? It is. Oh my, and +2 weapons on those as well. Hitting armor for 60. He's going to have +3 fairly shortly. That'll be 65, if I recall correctly. Marine King with a little bit of a drop into the pocket expansion. That's a lot of Infernal Pre-Igniter firepower, and they do 2-shot. They have +2. So they will be able to deal with that quite nicely. Marine King cleaning up that mining base for Grubby. It is the pocket expansion, though, so it's not as bad. He was almost mined out in it anyway. There's only 5 mineral patches there. It could have been an awful lot worse. Grubby's going to break his way through there just so he's got a more easy access point, assuming there's another drop, which there is. He's going to come around and try and hit the natural now. How many defenses are there at this base? It's looking pretty solid. His army is very close. The question is, what does Marine King do in response to that? Continuing to build siege tanks. He's currently on 11. He's going to be on 14 any moment now. Still a lot of Immortals, though. A huge amount. And Colossus. And the Viking count is not as high as it was. And the problem, of course, with stationary targets is they tend to die in storms quite easily. I'm liking this. This looks like it might be some kind of a timing attack on the +3. Grubby, on the other hand, thinking, I'm just going to back off. Just keep an eye on things. Infernal Pre-Ignite, a Hellion drop into the main. Not really able to do much. There isn't really much for it to do. Grubby looking to intercept it if at all possible. However, the Infernal Pre-Ignited Hellions are now down in this pocket over here. Grubby is going to see at least one of them. MarineKing needs to get the hell out of there. Not a lot of workers killed one way or the other. Grubby continuing to mine from this space securely. Doesn't have to worry about that. He's almost mined out there. His natural is looking pretty good, though. And it's well protected. You shouldn't have to worry about it. He's got a fair amount of units in his base and a cannon. And in the meantime, Grubby now making sure that MarineKing cannot expand to this 4th. MarineKing is forced to engage. I'm not sure what that storm was. There you go. There's another one. That's much better. Dropping on those deployed siege tanks. Grubby backing out. He knows he doesn't have to take that fire. There's no point. It doesn't matter if they're Immortals or not. That's still a lot of siege tanks, a lot of splash damage. No need. Some good storms, and he's able to deny that for the time being. And now he's looking for an angle. How many tanks are there? There are 18 for MarineKing.Prime. Gravitic booster upgrade, Zealot charge coming up for Grubby, and +1 ground armor. Grubby on +3 in terms of his weapon upgrades. MarineKing on +2 for his mech. MarineKing now securing this expansion, and I'm kind of surprised Grubby hasn't gone for it. There are a lot of siege tanks, I have to say. He's going to have to be really quick about breaking that. Does he have any storm availability? Yes, he does. Down it goes on the Hellions. Now the Immortals tearing through the siege tanks. Such a hard counter, and such a mess he is making here. A few Immortals going down in the storm of fire from MarineKing. Unfortunately, that is not enough. Grubby breaks this force again, denies the 3rd, and that command center is almost to the point of burning down. Grubby did lose a lot in that engagement, but it doesn't really matter. He can afford it. In the meantime, we had a drop over here while that engagement was going on. MarineKing did kill some workers, but it doesn't really matter because Grubby's now barreling down on his natural. SCVs more effective than tanks. It's true, they are. Cleaning up these Immortals with as many of his SCVs as it can possibly get. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter. GG, ladies and gentlemen. MarineKing with a really odd strategy.